Welcome back to another reaction, this time for Oshi Season 3, Episode 9. We are closing in on the end of the season.
俺みたいな映像制作者が映画をスクリーンに流すためにはいくつかのステップを踏む必要がある。
Okay, so we're getting more behind the scenes. We had that recently with Markiplier and his movie. Markiplier YouTuber, in case you didn't know. He made a movie and he was on a podcast, I believe, with his friends. I don't know if he's there all the time. Don't really follow that podcast. But he did talk a lot about the movie. About all the cost and what went into it and how it is being handled. You know, the whole how to get into cinemas and stuff. So I assume we get a little bit behind the scenes here as well.
その1、映画プロデューサーの助力を得る。
さあ、
Okay.
お金稼ぎの時間だ。
It shouldn't be too much of a problem because you have a lot of connections. There's the whole quid pro quo that they always talked about, where you help out people in every position and, you know, they owe you a favor and you can cash that in whenever you need to.
企画書は僕の方で整えておいたから、君は作品への思いを語ってくれればいい。
その2、出資者集め。一本の映画を作るのに必要な金は。
So 2 to 300 million yen. That's like $2 to $3 million? Really? And with the weak yen, even less. Really? That's like nothing. Couple $1 million? I mean, you hear about movies taking hundreds of millions of dollars to make. I mean, if you imagine you make a movie for like $10 million and it grosses like 100 million. I mean, Superman did like $500 million, right? The last Superman. So I feel like this is really cheap.
だいたい2億から3億。こういった制作費はいくつかの会社から出資を募り、権利や収益の分配を行う。いわゆる制作委員会方式だ。
Okay.
その3、配給会社へのプレゼン。配給会社の力によって使えるスクリーンの数は変わってくる。規模の大きい作品にしたければ、より力のある配給を通したい。が。
It's probably not going to be that easy. They may have a high bar to work with, and they are not going to work with a random movie you just produced out of nowhere with random actors. Especially because we are unable to secure the head actress because she's gone. I do wonder, do we already know this? Is this knowledge? Or are you pitching everything with the special actress in mind?
くそ、大手は全滅か。
内容がセンシティブだからね。大手は好まないよ。
Understandable. You don't want to burn any bridges. However, digital distribution can reach a lot of people on a lot smaller budget. And you don't necessarily need the big boys, but cinema still is far beyond digital. I mean, we had all the movies, live movies, I believe, coming out. We had the Chainsaw movie making blockbusters. We had Demon Slayer movie raking it in. So there is a lot of money to be made in cinema.
まあこういう危なっかしい作品を好む配給もあるから、気長に行こう。大丈夫。そろそろかかるはずさ。
I see. So you went everywhere and they all said no, and you hope that someone who's willing to take risks is going to come with a proposal? Because this could go really big or it could burn. So depending on how profitable the risk could be, besides
冠
if
城はフリ
people
ーのプ
want
ロ
to
デューサ
do
ーだ
this.
配給会社所属ではないので企画の持ち込みをしなければならない。しかし各社の総当たりができる強みもある。必ず作品を世に出したいという時
So is that the reason why you chose him as producer? To be flexible?
作品を世に出したいという時こういう男は頼りになる。
次
Headquarter Buildings 2. I have no idea who this is.
が本命だよ。
Main target, huh? You always were looking for this one, I see. And it's probably why you went to all the other distributors to make this seem more real. It is a real movie that is being made. And I assume they talk with one another a little bit at least.
何やるにも金だな。
I mean,
自主制作の方が良かったかい？
そういうわけじゃないけどさ。
could we? I mean, 200, 300 million yen. We know idols don't make a lot. We know I didn't make a lot of money. I'm assuming Aqua also doesn't. I assume Aqua and Ruby have a little bit money saved up, like maybe 100 grand together. But it is not necessarily as is in America, where if you are one of the top dogs, you can make one movie and you are set for life essentially.
ねえ。
Because
スマ
they're
ホ
so
1台あれ
expensive.
ばいくらでも映像作品が作れてネットに公開できるこの時
Oh,
代
is
に
that true?
あえて劇場にこだわる理由って何？
決まってる。そこじゃないとムーブメントの中心は狙えないからだよ。社会現象って呼べるほどのムーブメントを起こせるのは巨額の金が動くコンテンツしかありえない。
社会現象ね。かの五反田監督がそんなに大きな野望を抱えてたとは。
物作ってたら誰でも思うことだろう。より多くの人により長く100年後も評価される作品を作れたらって。
クリエイターだね。
I mean, yeah, sure. Most people probably want that, but that status is very hard to achieve.
僕は100年後の人間が言う昔の作品なのにすごいなんて上から目線の評価に興味ないけど。
That's also true.
ま、
That is being said about games a lot nowadays. That, oh, graphic holds up pretty well, gameplay holds up. And at the time they came out, they were like above and beyond what you experienced at the time. But nowadays it's just,
お金になるなら何でもいいかな。
背筋主義者め。
However, that is not a bad combination. You have one part, you have these two guys. One part is, I want this to be artistic, I want this to go down in history. He's passionate about the art. Now, that is fine and all, but passion alone can't make a lot of stuff. You need capital, especially as the bigger a project grows. You just need money. So to have another part that is caring about money is good. Now he only or mostly cares about money. Now you have a somewhat good balance if both are on the same level of what they can decide on. Now in modern gaming culture or gaming companies, there are too many people that care about the money, not enough people that have any sway that care about art. This is why we get a lot of pretty bad games nowadays.
さあ、お仕事はこれだけじゃないよ。
I mean, okay. Aqua is a villain. Yeah, that's insane. Okay. So we still have casting. We have an idea who we want to cast. Okay. But we still have casting. Meld, opening and schedule. Masato negotiating with agency. So I assume opening and schedule means they are willing to agree, but they need to know when is the shooting so they can move their schedule around. I assume.
の4キャスティング
看板役者次第で収益は何億と変わる。誰を積もれるかで成否が決まることも多い。けど売れてる役者はスケジュールを抑えるのが難しいし、断られることも多い。本当は主演にと思ってた子がもう一人いたんだけど。
なんかあったのか？
ドタキャンされちゃってね。噂じゃ音信不通とか聞いたけど、何があったんだろうね。それでも
Interesting. What I find interesting is that he got told that she's missing. I don't know how long this was ago. We know what happened. But I would have assumed that the agency would have waited a bit and then maybe try to not necessarily say the truth, but maybe they are close enough, or maybe that is a normal thing in Japan where you are like, hey, can't get a hold of my actress. I know we had a deal. I'm just going to let you know. If something changes, I'm going to contact you. Maybe that is the norm. I don't know.
スト候補は僕が過去に仕事を振ったり世話した中から今第一線でやってる子たちを
This is the biggest part.
キャスト候補はそれでも
By the way, among all the talent I took under my wing and sent jobs to. So every talent that
たり世話し
are, in debt of a favor to you, you just decided to bring in. I mean, Aqua, understandable that he's there.
た中から
I mean, it's
今
his
第
script.
一線でやってる子たちを並べてある。
I mean, some of these we know that he worked with. Some of them we don't really. I mean, when did you give Mem a job? The other ones I can understand because they are mostly actors. Mem, however, is not.
こういう時のために恩を売ってきた。僕の仕事の集大成だ。僕の仕事の集大成だよ。さて、このうちの何人が恩を返してくれるだろうね。
So even though they have a favor open, it's not like they have to adhere by that. There could also be always situations happening and they need to take like a rain check or whatever, which can happen.
役者や出資者のコネクションをつなぎ続け
He's a smart man. I mean, this is from, I believe, season 1, where he did say connections. It's all about connections. And if it is needed to take someone very new to the whole acting, who is not the best, just to have in favor in case that person gets famous for some reason, he's the guy that is going to do that.
映像制作に関する工程すべての知識を持ち現場全体のケアと牽引をするひょうひょうとやってのけるが簡単なことじゃない口を開けば金の話しかしない人だけど情熱がなきゃできない仕事ばかりしてる
ゴータンダ監督
I mean, that is true, but his passion is mostly about managing, it seems. The whole behind the scenes he seems to be passionate about. The money is mostly the visual indicator he has that shows him he's successful, which I feel like, if I remember right, PewDiePie talked about that a couple years back. By that I mean like 5 or so years, or 6 even. Holy crap. And I believe he was talking about that he started to care far too much about numbers because that is the only real metric of success he can have, which naturally is messing with your artistic pursuit because you are then going to conform your content to those numbers.
社会現象を起こせる作品
And maybe this is the same with him. The money he rakes in is the only thing he can really take to measure how good he is handling the show business.
本当に期待してるよそうなれば僕も大儲けだ
背筋主義者め
I mean, again, I do wonder which death that is. Let's say the movie does well. It is a phenomenon. He makes a lot of money. He knows, okay, it is a phenomenon. I made a lot of money. A lot of people saw it. It is going to have some effect. If not a lot of people saw it, that means not a lot of money, meaning it probably doesn't have much of an effect. So money is mostly the metric he can follow there.
究極の選択1タランチュラまみれの落とし穴に落とされる2マシンガンで全身8
How about none of these?
ノスにされる3隕石が落ちてきてものすごい勢いでぺちゃんこにされるこの中ならどれがいい
None? Why would I take any of those? Additionally, why are we so close again? I guess he gave up. He gave up with the whole I want to be separate from kinda.
何の話だよ。
いいから答えなさいよ
じゃあ3の隕石。一思いに死ねた方がしんどくない。
残念1以外を選んだ人はアホですタランチュラは噛まれても痛いだけで毒はないんです悪は頭悪い
お前は性格が悪いけどな。
アクアアクアってあの星のアクアやばずらかるわよあんたも有名
I see someone has a good old time playing around with Aqua now.
になったもんね人前でおいそれと名前を呼ぶのもはばかられるようになるなんて
あの記事が出て以来は特にな。それだけ愛の事件は人の心に残るものだったということだ。
And Ai's murder was a social phenomenon, seemingly. Even though it blew over real quick at the time, it still is making waves whenever it is being brought up, seemingly.
でも困ったわね外で名前呼ぶときどうしたらあーくんこれなら人前でも大丈
Mm-hmm.
夫でも困ったわね外で名前呼ぶときどうしたらあーくんこれなら人前でも大丈夫でしょ何よあんたの平穏のために言ってるんじゃないまあこうなったのも私を守ってくれたからだし協力するのは当然って誤解しないでよね彼女面
Are you sure? Are you sure about that?
してるとかじゃないからあくまで大事な友達だと思う
Why are you lying? Now the question is really, what is Aqua's thought process? Is he like in season 1 where it's mostly about I take whatever I can for help because I need to get to my goal, And he doesn't really care about anything else around that. As long as he doesn't have to hurt the people close to him. Because this is more or less a 180. The whole reason to distance yourself from Kana, to not have these feelings. I mean, she's saying she doesn't see you as anything more than a friend, but I mean, a bigger lie was not told in the story at
異
this
性とし
point.
てとか絶対ない。そもそもあんたは彼女持ちなんだし。
茜とは別れたけどな。
ああ、そう。黒川茜とは別れ。余計なこと言った。貴重なチャンスを私は。
だから
Yeah, no more feelings, right? Don't feel anything but friendship.
好きに呼んだらいい。
じゃあ私収録あるから。またねあー
とっとと行け。
くん。あーくん。ふうふうふう。まあまあこれまた。
The big sister of the group.
あーくんだって随分と仲良くなったみたいですな。
まあな。
かなちゃん最近元気になってきたみたいだね。私としては大変喜ばしいことなんだけどね。でもまあちょっと茜から別れたことは聞いてたけど、さすがにいたたまれないというか、どうにかうまいことやってもらえると大変助かるメム女なわけで。
心配には及ばない。
お
I mean, Mamsho was always in the middle of this conflict where two of her friends like the same boy.
俺はもう自分が幸せになろうなんて甘い考えを持っていない。
いやまあ
Is it? I feel like
恋人と別れた後ってそういう考えに陥りがちだけど、
that is a massive red flag. Saying that you are done trying to live a happy life. Normally it would be like, I'm done with relationships. I'm never going to fall in love again. But saying stuff like, oh, no longer have any wide-eyed illusions about leading a happy life. I feel like that is a hey, how about we don't say that?
幸せになる権利は誰にでもあるわけで。
そういう話じゃない。有馬とは良好な関係を築いた方が都合がいいということだ。
Oof. I mean, I feel like that is not what Mamsho wants to hear. She is very... doesn't really feel like a friendship. Just a
利用
relationship
でき
with
るものを
users,
全て利用する。
usage.
それがたとえ有馬だろうと。火蓋はもう切られた。計画は予定通りに進んでいる。
We will see how successful this is going to be.
君の本当の願いを僕が叶えてみせる。
まるで
Oh,
悲劇のヒ
look who decided to come back.
ーローだね。星の悪は
先輩卒業おめでとうございます。
ルビー。
これで晴れて高卒だね。
私には散々大学行けとか言ってるくせに結局自分は受験もしないで決めたの。
She's like 18, right? Is that the time you go to college in Japan?
私の人生に学歴は
Or did she... I don't remember. Did she maybe go to a different school? Maybe she skipped grades or years? I don't know. It feels a little bit late. I don't know.
いらない。女優として この芸能界に骨をうずめる覚悟ができたから。
It would be nice if you didn't say that. Because the show has a lot of murder going on.
夏のライブを最後にアイドルも卒業して役者に専念する。ビーコ町の活動を糧に。分かってる。卒業は笑顔で見送るものだからね。
愛役だけどさ、知らぬいフリルが積もれそうだ。
脇役じゃなきゃスケジュール抑えられないって話じゃなかったか？
そうだったんだけど、予定してた作品が飛んだらしい。主演は
Interesting. So, Frill. Shiranui Frill. Wasn't that Snake Girl? It's Snake Girl? Pretty sure it's Snake Girl.
作品の顔だからね。フリルちゃんなら知名度も十分。出資者からも押す声が出てるし、決めていいんじゃないかな。
Interesting. So they have a bunch of people available. And they have to decide who's going to be the lead actress. Man, I feel like this has to be such a hard job. You have like a whole schedule. You're like, okay, we are starting in January as example. Okay, when do people have time? We need to make a plan when we are going to film. Then we have to get all the roles in. Oh, this person only has enough time for a supporting role. Then we need to shoot the supporting role parts whenever they are available. And oh man, that's a lot of planning. Especially the more people you have, the more planning you need to do. Nah, don't need that. Just have 3 people. The rest can go to something else. Easier to plan.
猫語話せるのか？
誰？
五反田だ。忘れたか？
ああ、監督だ。お久しぶりです。
最後に
How did you come across one another?
やったのは
Is this planned?
15歳の誕生日だったか。
ママのビデオレターくれたよね。懐かしい。
遺伝子っていうのは本当に残酷だな。これほどまでに美人に育つとは。
Okay, chill out.
どうしたの？もしかしてうちに用事？
まあな。お前こそ何してんだ、こんなとこで。
ちょっと事務所に顔合わせたくない人がいて。
アクアか。そういや、なんか揉めてるって聞いたが、お前らまだ。
Interesting, there's still the connection going on. I mean, they did write the script together. I assume he's also involved in the process.
まだって。ママの秘密をあんな風に暴いて許せるわけないでしょ。
お前、アクアから DVD の話聞いてないのか？
What DVD? What do you mean? Oh, probably the stuff you filmed for I.
DVD？
いや、全部まとめて追っかぶるつもりか。
Man, these people, they really suck at keeping secrets, don't they? Oh, did he not tell you about this totally secret item? What item do you mean? Oh, never mind.
シスコンが過保護にも程がある。あのだな、別にアクアは悪気があってやったわけじゃ。
Yeah, you mentioned a DVD. Can we go back to that?
別にいいよ。アクアがどういうつもりであんなことしたのかはもう興味ない。結局誰も信用しちゃダメってことなんだよね。
That's a little bit sad. You still have your mom, stepmom, adoptive mom. You have someone at least. And Memsho. Memsho is still
誰もがみんな嘘をついているんだから。
すまんな。そういや、愛が子供を産んだのもこれ。
Okay. A little bit weird of a connection. However, you did not really have too much connection with I, right? It was just a couple little jobs that you did together.
これくらいの年だったか。今回の映画が動き出した契機になったのは2枚の DVD。
Open this when you are 15. Do not open till you are 15. To Nietzsche, to Ruby. Why, first off, why is this a different condition? Open when you are 15, do not open till you are 15. Essentially the same, but why are we writing this differently? Secondly, to Ruby, to Nishan, question mark?
いいだった。
監督、これ預かっておいて。
何それ。
未来に向けたビデオレター。やってみたかったんだよね、こういうの。
So you not only made the one little letter, movie, video letter, whatever, you made two more, or is one of them the ones he gave them already?
アクアとルビーが15歳になったら渡して。
Or are these
また妙なこ
additionally?
とを始めたな。自分で渡せよ。
私が持ってたら絶対に紛失するでしょ。
確かに。
Fair enough.
監督は中身見ちゃダメ。
I totally forgot he did the whole movie. That is why he has more connections. Right. He didn't really have many connections until he decided to make the documentary.
だからね。
ああ、覚えてたら渡してやるよ。
絶対だよ。
俺はもっと考えるべきだった。なぜ15歳のアクアとルビーに当てたのか。なぜ DVD を2枚に分けたのか。
Good question.
なぜ愛はなくなる直前に俺にこの DVD を託したのか。その答えに気づいたとき、この企画を始める決意を固めた。
So we have two DVDs. Was one of the ones the DVD we saw in the first season, I believe it was? Or are these two additional DVDs that we have not seen yet?
で、愛役は誰になったんだ？
カブラギ P は知らぬいフリルを起用したいとのことだ。
知らぬいか。人気あるからな。
だけど俺は
うん、
愛役に星野ルビーを推したいと思っている。
It's a little bit weird for Ruby to play the mom. It feels even more weird for Aqua to play the dad. That's gonna be a very interesting shot. Who's going to play the children? Are we going to have children even in here? Maybe they're not important. Children that play Aqua, small Aqua and small Ruby, I mean. Additionally, is she even part of this movie? Has she read the script? How were they able to convince her to be part of the movie that her brother made or is writing? I also don't know if she's even good at acting. We know she's a good idol. We also know I was not really, if I remember correctly, I was not a good actress, but she had a charisma and the ability to be the focus of the camera, and she was always very conscious of where the camera is at all times, similar to what Aqua is doing or did in season 1. But I believe she was not really a good actress or seen as a good actress. Maybe she was, but she never got the chance because she was an idol. I don't know how good Ruby is.
こんな感じでいいんですか？
どこかで演技学んでたの？
一応事務所に何度かレッスン受けさせられてました。あとは身内に演技やってる人が多いので見よう見まねというか。
そう、ありがとう。
失礼します。
I do really wonder, does she know what she is casting for?
何の審査だったんだろう。
She does not know what she is casting for. Interesting. So they did not tell her what kind of story it is. They did not show her the storyboard at all. Which I feel like is not... You don't really get too much of the story, maybe? I don't really know. I'm not an actor, naturally. You probably get a little bit of a script you are supposed to read. And maybe like a description of the character. And that's it, maybe? I have no clue. But nonetheless, they did not tell her what kind of story, what the story is about, which character she is auditing for or auditioning for. And that her brother made that script, or partly made that script. And she would work with her brother. They kept her out of the loop. Now the question is, do the other people know? Like Frill, does she know this is about this? Or is this really... Because she's saying, what did I just get screened for? That tells me that normally you would know. But in this case, it's more or less a secret.
演技が全然できないって言うんなら話は早かったのに。また話をややこしくしてくれたね、五反田君。
見ての通りルビーは演技ができる。細かいところはこれから教えればいい。彼女を起用すれば愛の解像度も上がって作品としての意義が。
そういう話じゃないでしょ。作品の質とか意義とかはね、2番目なの。
The quality and significance of the film are secondary concerns. Okay, so what is your counter now? Because it's like, okay, so why are we not getting her to play her mom?
そろそろ分かろうよ。ムッとした顔するけどね、五反田君も大人なんだから理解してるでしょ。一番大事なのは出資して。
Right. Again, this is how this should be balanced. You have two people that hopefully each have equal say, and you have some people that are more focused on the organization, like this guy, and then one who is more interested in what makes a good product. And this way you can make a good product that is going to be sustainable, instead of making a fantastic product that may never be of interest to people. Like, I don't know, Conker's Fur Day, because I recently saw a clip of that again, which I feel like should be a really good product, but came out at the wrong time for the wrong console and stuff. It makes sense that we have a little bit of a balance here.
くれた会社に借りた金を返すこと。知らぬいフリルを起用すれば収益的に採算が取れる可能性が高い。商業性を管理するプロデューサーとして知らぬいフリルの第一候補は譲れない。
I mean, it is also that the main actress is going to be the one that pulls in the most people. Now, I would say Ruby at the moment has a pretty good pull. However, who knows in half a year or a year, whenever this is finished shooting, editing stuff, then maybe Ruby is going to be in the back burner again. So Frill is a far better choice, I would say.
カブラギ P の言っていることは正しい。作品の質どうのの話をするのは企画として商業的成功が見えた後だ。俺としても この作品はヒットしてもらわなくては困る。
You should also not forget big commercial success means a lot of viewers, and that is what the main goal is of the story. Not necessarily that you have very few viewers and they see it as a gospel. That doesn't really help you much.
人には芸能界はアートの場じゃなくてビジネスの場と言ってるくせに、自分のことは棚にあげるあたりなんだかな。まああの人、たまたま映画の撮れるでっかい子供だからな。早く。
I mean, that's a little bit unfair. Also, we have not seen his mom. Where's mom? Hmm? Is she cleaning his room again? What about some food? Staying over for some food?
大人になってくれ。それに、ルビーは出たがらないだろう。あいつはまだ母の真実を語ることはできないはずだ。
I mean, you should trust your sister a little bit more.
Gyo-
Here they're arguing over the cast. But if they want it to be hit, they gotta cast you a blockbuster name for the win, lol.
業界にはよその内部事情にやたら詳しい人たちがいて、それを話のネタにタレントとつながりを保とうとする人も多い。
Manzo subtitles.
そういう人の話を聞くと時々、自分の立ち位置に疑問を覚えることがある。
I mean, that is a very good question. That is why having a good agent, very important. A good agency in general. Someone who can do all the playing around, they can really concentrate on that. This way you are able to concentrate on your part, which is all the acting, the preparation, stuff like that. That is why you more or less pay an agency to do all of the stupid games that I would totally hate. She also has a script, which is interesting.
クレープ食べて帰らない？
あ、いいね。そしたらみなみにも。
ルビー、今日は内緒のお話。5番も韓国も
Why are you speaking with a full mouth?
新作、台本読んだんだけどさ。もともと別役でオファー来てたんだけど、ちょうどスケジュール空いたから主演にスライドさせようって話。
But she sees it differently. Interesting. She did question herself. How should she play the game? It would make the most sense to just stay back, let your agency deal with it, you know, big name. You are guaranteed to be the head actor or actress or main actress. You just don't need to do anything. Done deal. But now she seems unhappy with that. Maybe because she doesn't want to be the main actress because of her name, but because she is the best person for the job. Maybe it's a little bit of a pride thing, which is understandable.
が出てて。でも結局誰にするか揉めてるみたい。
ん？あ、こないだ呼び出されたのそれか。
聞かされてなかったんだ。
じゃあ、私とフリルちゃんでオーディションするってこと？
And again, Frill has the script, at least partially, maybe fully. So she knows at least some of the story, if not all.
と？
それは無理だよ。トップタレントに対してオーディションなんて絶対かけないのが日本の芸
Oh.
能界。オーディションが発生するのは脇役のキャスティングのみ。大人の人は私みたいなのを同時に比較できない。 映画の主演や作品の主題歌とかのオファーは基本
Starring roles and theme songs. Interesting. The second part.
的に一つ限り。同時並行は
Also interesting. So you go to Frey and be like, do you want to be our main actress? And she's going, yeah, I don't feel it. Our agency's going, nah, we don't like the conditions. And then they go to the next person instead of being like, you know, ask every person under the sun and then more or less decide who you want to pick at the end. Which is also interesting that you just, there's no auditioning. I don't know why auditing. Yeah, there's no auditioning going on. So you already have an idea who you want to cast. And that is who you're going to get or try to get. Which is interesting. And that the same thing happens for theme songs is also very interesting.
仁義として NG
I do wonder how that works because they need to make a song for your movie or anime in this case. Or are you just going to yoink one of their songs?
なの。断られて初めて次の候補の交渉に移る。主演級の仕事のオファーが数多く来る役者はあくまで仕事を選ぶ側なの。つまり面接官は私。有名タレントに対してオーディションなんて失礼千万って制作側も事務所側も考えてる。別にそんなことはないのにね。私たちもコネや知名度じゃなくて実力で選んでほしいのに。
Understandable. Totally understandable. There are probably some actors who are fine with the idea of just being chosen. But there are probably a lot that want to be chosen because they are the best. Not because they are the biggest name.
トップスターにも悩みがあるんだね。
そうなの。いつも悩んでる。病む。私たちはいい作品を作るのが役目。なのに私たちのせいで作品の質が落ちることがある。役者は実力で選ばれるべき。そう思わない？
Interesting cut to Kana because Ruby sees how this is affecting Kana because she doesn't get any jobs because she's not a big household name anymore. So she has to auditioning for everything, going through probably a lot of refuses, whatever. Instead of having the chance to make it as a big star, she probably has to work on like side jobs and smaller roles until she at some point gets chosen to star in a movie.
だよね。じゃあそうしようよ。
でも大人の人は私たちを同時に比較できない。
I mean, just because they don't do that doesn't mean you can't do it yourself.
大人の人たちはね。私たちが勝手にやる分にはどう？勝負しようよルビー。負けたらオファーを断る。そうすれば消去法で勝った人が選ばれるでしょ。言うならば個人間オーディション。
So who's going to be the judge? This is a big question. And additionally, Ruby still doesn't know why she got auditioned, right? She has no clue. Shopping arcade, hula dance, private audition. Oh. Is it like, hey, this is what we do? This?
こういうところって仮。
Oh. Oh. You just have put down a name for the reservation. And it's like, oh, you reserve a room under private audition or under the name Sunflower R&R. And then you come here, you see, okay, we are in A, then you go into A, or you go to the, secretary, then you go to the A. Okay.
へえ、こういうところって借りられるんだ。
お金のない劇団
Hmm. So this is just a big building. I see the copier there. Nice. For some reason, I feel like that is going to move because it's drawn in instead of background. Nonetheless, so it's just a big building with some rooms and you just rent them out. Are they soundproof
と
and
か
stuff?
地下アイドルもよくレッスンに使ってるよ。こういう公民館って使用料が意味わからん
Nonsensically cheap rental fees. Interesting.
くらい安いんだよね。
So-
いくら？
2時間200円。
What? $2? You are telling me $2, $1 per hour to rent a room. That is $24 per day. What is that in a month? Like 600, 720? 720? Cheaper than renting a room, I feel like. You just put down some mattress and you sleep here. Done. Okay, you don't have a bath necessarily. You try to get an onsen nearby, and you don't even need to rent the building in daytime. So you can save a lot of money. You just rent 12 hours every night. That over 30 days. What is that? Like $360? Sleep here? You do have to have some kind of mattress or a futon, maybe. Pack the futon up, bring it to a locker, like a coin locker. Go into a public bath, which takes a couple yen as well, and then you are done. Oops.
2時間で200円。
意味わからんくらい安くない？
国民の血税が大量に使われた行政の箱物だからね。ありがたく使わせてもらおうね。
高額納税者の静かな怒り怖いな。
I mean, fair. So this is government based. Okay, I am assuming you can't rent it out at night then, sadly. Still very cheap. We saw like 5 or so reservations, so it's $10 per hour. No, it's $5 per hour for the 5 rooms. That is still nothing. You are not making money on this thing. I feel like this is mostly to cover the cost it produces by cleaning, having someone on staff, and I guess property tax.
それで何するの？個人間オーディション。
Very baggy jeans she has, or pants.
もしかして。こういうこと？
What the fuck?
そんな命がけのことしないよ。
Not yet. Maybe. Also, we don't have anyone else to decide who's winning. Are we still
お待たせ。
waiting? Okay.
あかねちゃん。
これで揃ったね。主演候補。
Okay. Now we have 3 people. And we have a better way to decide. Because now we have 2 people that decide how good the third one is.
ルビーちゃん、久しぶり。
Yeah, not weird at all.
気まずいよ。最近破局宣言出たばっかりだし。 でも仮にも一度は姉と呼んだ関係、うまく対応。
You can still call her Big Sis. I mean, you can call her that for being an actress, being a theater one, being your essentially senpai in the entertainment industry.
アクアくん元気にしてる？白縫さん、これはどういう裏があるんですか？
裏？
五反田監督の新作の主演候補に私たちが上がってるんですよね。放っておけば白縫さんにオファーが来るでしょ。こんな引っかき回すようなことをするのは。
We also never heard that you were even part of the equation.
何か裏があるからでしょ。
Because I feel like she would also be more relevant than Ruby because of the whole quid pro quo thing.
そんなのないって。
嘘つき。
黒川さんって結構疑り深いんだね。うん、まあ裏あるよ。ちょっとはね。
何？どんなの？
内緒。でも今回個人間オーディションをしようと思ったのは、ただ単に私が気持ちよく仕事をしたいからってのが9割。やっぱこの役にふさわしいのは私だったなーって思いながら仕事したいから。
Totally understandable.
興味ないな。久々のオフなの。
仕事したいから。
興味ないな。久々のオフなの。そういう感じなら私帰る。
相方はアクアさんだよ。
Yeah, I mean, this Akane doesn't have an idea as well. What? Brill is the only one that knows about the script at this point, which is insane. Ruby did not even know Aqua was even part of this. She does not know this is even Aqua's script. Now Akane, we will see how she's going to react. Is she going to take this serious now?
オーディションって言うけど、誰が審査をするの？
言ったでしょ、個人間って。
If it was one-on-one, I would not do this because it would be somewhat. It wouldn't really make too much sense. But with 3 people, you have 2 people that judge you, and there are going to be at least some people that are going to be honest, because everyone wants to be the head actress, sure, the main star of the movie. But some people do or are going to be honest enough to see who is the one best for the job.
私たちで決めればいい。
審査内容は？
まあ普通に役の演技すればいいんじゃない？
台本もらってないから役って言われてもわからない。
私ももらってない。
ああ、そっか。さすがにオファーが来てない段階の人に台本見せるわけにはいかないから。じゃあ、なんとなく私がテーマを決めるから、それに応じてエチュードする感じでどう？
Okay. I mean, fair enough. I don't know how that is going to help you decide who gets the role. Because unless you literally propose the role itself, it's not going to be able to translate one-to-one, right?
それでいいよ。
じゃあやろっか。テーマは嘘つき。まず私がやってみせるから、どう演じるか考えてて。
Okay. I mean, they need to judge you. Not that you have a time limit, you have like 2 hours in this room.
1番、白縫いフリル。嘘つきやります。うおー！狼が来たぞー！狼が来たぞー！狼が来たぞー！ちぇ、最近は誰も信じてくれなくなったな。
The boy that cried wolf, I see.
みんなに構ってほしいな。寂しいな。どうしたらいいんだろ
The voice change is crazy.
う。そうだ。本当のことを言えばみんな構ってくれるのかな。狼が来てないぞ。すると猟銃を持った男衆が村中から集まってきて、狼少年はまたこっぴどく叱られましたとさ。ドット払い。
小話？
コメディエンヌ適性がうっかりにじみ出た。
You have a comedian side?
みんなは別にオチなんてつけなくていいよ。自由にやって。
I feel like it feels like you are throwing the competition. I don't know.
というわけで、私はそこそこだけど演技ができる。黒川さんほどじゃないけどね。でも私にしか出せない魅力があると思うので、そのあたりも感情に入れてほしいかな。
Yeah, I mean, it is very important to know your strengths.
演技が上手ければいい役者というわけではない。思わず注視してしまう何か、けれんみがこの人にはある。それは役者としての大きな武器だ。
じゃあ次はルビーの番。
もしこれが普通のオーディションだったらルビーちゃんは勝てない。それでも彼女がここにいる理由。
Detective Akane on the crime scene.
この役は、この映画は。
ねえルビー。ルビーにとって嘘とはどういうもの？
Don't say love. Don't say love, please. Okay, we are going to get a nice little competition. Still, it feels like Frill just threw the competition. She wants someone else to take the job, or she probably sees someone else being more fit for the job. And it's not that she is bad or unfit, it's just that she knows if it was not because of her big name, she wouldn't get the job. Mostly because, as she's saying, she's bringing something to the role she takes, and this one is not necessarily the one she assumes would fit her that well. She could get other jobs and do well there, I guess. Because this whole thing, she did it because she wants to feel she deserves to take this job. And she got not only Ruby here, but also Akane. So that is a lot of competition. And it did not feel like what she presented was too big. Especially going into like a joke. I don't know. It feels a little bit like she... Maybe this is like only the first round. We could have like multiple rounds where we decide then. But it felt a little bit weak for a private auditioning thing.